Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is Dave Davis with Your Money Matters.
Hey everybody, happy last Friday of May here. I'm Dave Davis. We're here in our digital streaming, digital first, digital exclusive studio here at News on 6. We're going to be talking with Trae Rahill coming up here in just a moment, the OESC CEO here in Oklahoma. That's Oklahoma Employment Security Commission. We're talking about jobs, how to apply for jobs, what Oklahoma employers are looking for, the future of work in Oklahoma. So, let's just get right to it. Trae Rahill is joining me now. Trae, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So I want to start off by just asking you about the high school graduates. High school, college graduates, it is that season that it is happening, the commencement speeches, and people looking for jobs. So let's start with the high school seniors who maybe don't know their next steps. Are we going to go to college, going to go to trade schools? What do you feel like Oklahoma has to offer to keep our best and brightest here?
Sure. Yeah. Oklahoma has a lot to offer. There are currently more jobs available than people looking for them. So that's usually a really good economic condition for people coming into the workforce. They have a lot of options, and it's spread across industries. So we see our top industries in terms of job growth, oil and gas, aerospace, manufacturing, construction, healthcare. So kind of depending on what someone's interest is or what they're passionate about, they're going to have a easier time, I think, finding work here than they might in a lot of other states. So I think we're positioned well for that. It's just a matter of understanding what they want to do and what they might be good at, and so that we can match them meaningfully to what their next step should be.
And what do you think that the top jobs are going to be here? Just let's talk about 5 years from now, the biggest jobs that Oklahoma's going to be looking for.
Yeah, so if we look by industry, I definitely think aerospace, manufacturing, construction, healthcare, there's a lot of opportunity in those industries. Within those industries, there's a lot of different jobs that kind of contribute to the overall workforce. So a lot of mechanical and kind of manufacturing. There's a lot of logistics. There's a lot of focus on cyber and AI and how those things can be integrated into different industries. And so I think there's quite a bit of opportunity if someone was going to choose in the tech space. There's also what we call kind of the resurgence of the blue collar worker, a lot of trades focused positions. So plumbers, welders, electricians, things that you can do with a high school diploma and then maybe a post-secondary kind of career tech certification or something. So there's quite a bit of that physical labor, lower barriers to entry kind of opportunity for folks across the state, as well as a lot of more, professional kind of degrees as well if someone decided to go the college route.
And I'm curious about the future. We've talked about artificial intelligence and AI. Do you feel like that's additive to jobs, could be negative for the workforce? Artificial intelligence is here. It's only getting more prevalent and stronger. What do you feel about that in terms of Oklahoma workforce and the interplay with artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. I think we need to be asking this question as often as we can. Truthfully, I think to some extent, every company that wants to exist long-term is going to figure out how to kind of become a technology company in some ways. So the way of integrating some of these technological advancements into their work. So using AI in delivering services to customers. There's a lot of opportunity in a lot of different career fields and industries where we can see ways of kind of enhancing or expanding capacity by using some of the tools available like AI. I think where you'd see it have a negative impact on jobs would be where you have employers that kind of say, well, we know that that's something that our competitors are really looking into, but we kind of don't want to go in for that. And they might see some of their work disrupted, not necessarily by an AI bot per se, but maybe someone in a competitor space just using it more responsibly to expand capacity. I think, there's a lot of examples you can look around different jobs where you've seen automation, be something that's taken the job of somebody. So I know that there's a lot of fear around that, but I think there's so much more opportunity in using things to expand capacity where you don't need a physical human doing that work. And so you could kind of keep the work that is much more appropriate to be done by humans still kind of the focus. So I don't think it's just oh my goodness, horrible disruption, all these jobs are going to go away. But I think there is that chance for the companies that kind of bury their head in the sand and say it's probably not going to impact us. I think it's a matter of time before it does.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's a similar situation with factories, kind of the same answer where, manufacturing jobs, if the tariffs do bring back U.S. manufacturing jobs and if these plants are going to be opening in the next 5 years, as the president has hoped, what is it kind of the same answer? Like, you need to be a technology company. If you're in the manufacturing industry, you need to be a tech company as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, the focus on bringing manufacturing back and having so many more jobs here based on industry growth, that's a phenomenal thing for workforce because the availability of those jobs is great for the people here. So people want to graduate in Oklahoma and stay in Oklahoma. The creation of new jobs means opportunity for them to stay here close to home, and that's ultimately what we want. We also want to attract people from other states and other countries to invest here, and we have robust job markets that can kind of facilitate that. So overall, I say it's really good. But yeah, to your question on that about what's the technology component of this manufacturing kind of surge, there definitely will be that. I think where you're putting in factories to do, all kinds of things are happening across Oklahoma, battery refinement and physically producing goods. Those are things that you can responsibly source technology in and have better data analytics because you're seeing that this thing is happening at scale 100 times over. You don't have to touch it, necessarily with a human. Then there's really smart ways of kind of integrating that work with the technology that's available. So I think, manufacturing's huge, a lot of jobs wrapped up in that kind of opportunity. But these days we should be building that up differently than we would have, 30 years ago. So I think it's kind of a both and.
You had brought up Senate Bill 911. Tell us how this functions as a tax break for businesses. It's going into effect November 1st of this year, and basically companies are able to contribute less to the unemployment trust fund. Is that how it works?
That's correct. Yeah. So we're really excited about this bill. It passed unanimously, I believe, out of the House and Senate, and then got the governor's signature. So it's now a law. You mentioned it becomes effective this November. It is essentially a tax decrease for all employers in the state. The agency administers the unemployment trust fund. So if someone is granted unemployment benefits, those are paid out of this trust fund. And the revenue source for the trust fund is employer taxes. They have to pay those taxes by law. What we did in this legislation is tweak some of the components of that equation so that it's calculating lower taxes for all. So there's things that you can do to decrease how much you're burdening the employer community with the responsibility of providing those benefits. And we've made some really strong and big steps in the right direction on administering those benefits and sourcing things responsibly by eliminating so much, of fraud and things that have existed for some time. And so we are now sitting in a position where we say, we don't think we need as much revenue coming into that. So let's try and give the employers a break. And that's what that bill essentially does.
Last thing here, the top employers right now, 5 of them are either government or university in the Department of Defense and Veteran Affairs. We've got 3 in the top healthcare in Oklahoma, three corporations, 2 healthcare. That's kind of the top 10 breakdown of the biggest employers in this state, corporations, governments, and healthcare. 10 years from now, where do you see that changing? What's going to be, do you think, the biggest industry in Oklahoma?
Well, I didn't bring my crystal ball with me, Dave, but I think that we'll see the state's focus and investment in our key industries where we can really distinguish ourselves, from other states competitively. I think we'll continue to see that the largest sectors are oil and gas and and aerospace, and there will be manufacturing and data centers, and kind of a big focus on cyber moving forward. So from an industry standpoint, I don't think that gets disrupted too terribly over the next 10 years. I think cyber moves way up, and I think there's a lot of technological advancement that is happening inside other industries that make those jobs much harder. So people coming out with cybersecurity and programming and coding kind of skill sets, I think can go to work in any industry that's integrating those things responsibly. So I think we'll see a lot of that over the next 10 years. But yeah, I mean, hottest jobs would be those that are able to kind of do both. They have a technical skill that a person is really, passionate about or good at. I have this skill that I can take to work, and I've got this mindset and maybe this skill set on how to do it better in the future. And where we find people that kind of can do both of those, you could send them in manufacturing. There will be a lot of opportunity. Construction, transportation, healthcare. The industries themselves may not change terribly, but how people are able to go into those industries and really make an impact, that's where we see workforce development having cool opportunities to make sure they're coming out with the right mindsets and skill sets. So you don't have to worry much about the companies, because the best people coming out and going there, they'll figure out what they need to be doing in the future. So it's kind of a people investment model so that they're ready for kind of anything that the economy throws at them in terms of needs. And I think that's the way we need to be doing it.
Trae Rahill, CEO of OESC, thank you so much for your time. And, it's been a fascinating conversation, and I hope we can do this again soon, Trae. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
So again, Trae Rahill. For more of this interview, I did a 9 a.m. interview, so that's going to be up on News on 6 at 9 a.m. Going to be up on newson6.com. This whole interview, if you're just jumping in, part of it is on newson6.com. All 20 minutes of it, newson6.com, as well as our YouTube channel. And keep checking back, because we're going to have this extra content for you, more content on top of our newscast from our digital studio right here, News on 6 in downtown Tulsa. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you again another time here on the News on 6 Digital Desk.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's own digital studio stream. Stay with News on 6 online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.